everybody. Today we are going to learn about the postural hypotension. Postural hypotension means there is decrease of patient's blood pressure when the patient stands from a lying down position, and when a person stands from his lying down position, the more blood will be accumulated in his veins, and as the more blood is accumulating in his vein, and they cannot go to the right atria because of the gravity, so there will be less venous return, and as there is less venous return, less blood will come to this right atrium, and as less blood is come to the right atrium, eventually less blood will come into the right ventricle, and if there is less blood in this right ventricle, then the end-diastolic volume will decrease. And here is our Starling curve, and we see initially we suppose the heart is working in this point, and if the venous return decreases due to standing position, and eventually we have seen the end-diastolic volume will decrease to this point due to less venous return, and we see in this point Starling curve, here the heart is operating in this point. So it means when the end-diastolic volume decreases, the stroke volume from this point decreases up to this point. So it means when the heart receives less venous return, it ejects less blood. So there will be less ejection of blood and less stroke volume, and eventually there will be less blood into the left atrium and less blood into the left ventricle, and eventually as there is less blood coming to the left ventricle, so there will be less ejection of blood into the aorta, so there will be less blood into the arch of aorta. As less blood has come to the arch of aorta due to decreased stroke volume, it will decrease the patient's total blood pressure. We know blood pressure is equals to cardiac output into total peripheral resistance, and we know cardiac output is equals to stroke volume into heart rate total peripheral resistance. So this is our net pressure equation. So if the stroke volume is decreasing heavily, eventually it will decrease the pressure that is present in the vessel. So it will decrease the blood pressure into the aorta, and eventually all the blood vessel pressure will be decreased. And this is our internal carotid artery, and here it is our carotid sinus, carotid body. Their pressure will be also decreased, and here in aortic arch pressure will be also decreased, and this decreasing pressure will be detected by some receptor. That receptors are called baroreceptor. Baroreceptor are present in aortic arch and carotid sinus. In our aortic arch, the baroreceptor, it is mainly the vagus nerve, cranial nerve chain, and it in our carotid sinus, it is our glossopharyngeal nerve. This is our cranial nerve 9, and these receptors are mainly stretch receptors, and these receptors detect blood pressure into these vessels, and they transmit signals to the spinal cord. It is important to learn that the pressure that is present in the aortic arch, it will stimulate the cranial nerve 10 vagus nerve, and this pressure, it is mainly this receptor, it is mainly a high pressure receptor, because this cranial nerve mainly detects the high pressure if it is present, but this cranial nerve 10, cranial nerve 9, glossopharyngeal nerve, it detects the both low pressure and high pressure. So in this condition where our stroke volume has significantly decreased, and eventually our pressure has also been decreased, this decreasing pressure will mainly sensed by this carotid sinus, and this impulse will be mainly carried by this glossopharyngeal nerve to this medulla, and here it is our vasomotor signal, and there it is a nucleus that I have drawn in yellow. This nucleus is called the nucleus of tractus solitarius. This is our nucleus of tractus solitarius, and it is activated by decreasing blood pressure, which is sensed by cranial nerve 9. This nucleus of tractus solitarius will eventually activate some other centers, and it also deactivates some other centers. It will activate this green center, and this nucleus of tractus solitarius, it will inactivate this red center. This green center, it is called cardiac accelerator center. This green center, this is called the vasoconstrictor center, and this red center, which is going to be suppressed by our nucleus tractus solitarius, it is called cardiac decelerating center. This is our vasoconstrictor center, and this is our cardiac accelerator center, and these two centers are activated by our nucleus tractus solitarius. These two centers are mainly component of our sympathetic nervous system. So we can, in a nutshell, say our nucleus of tractus solitarius is eventually activating our sympathetic nervous system, and this cardiac decelerating center, which was inhibiting by our nucleus tractus solitarius, it was mainly our parasympathetic nervous system. And in a nutshell, we can say nucleus tractus solitarius, it deactivate our parasympathetic nervous system. Now we will see what are the effects of activating the sympathetic nervous system in this patient where he is suffering from postural hypotension. These two center will give the branch off to a polysynaptic pathway to their here this sympathetic nucleus that are present in our lateral horn, and from here the neurons that are activating by our cardiac accelerating center, this will eventually go to our heart, and they will activate the SA node that is present here, and this will activate our AV node that is present here, and these nerves will diffusely activated whole the myocardium. And what are the effects of this activation? When SA node is activate, it increase firing, so ultimately it increase the heart rate. And when AV node is activated, it also conducts the impulse that is coming from the SA node with a fast velocity, so ultimately it will also increase the heart rate. And when the whole myocardium is activated by these sympathetic nerves, it will increase the contractility, and eventually increasing contractility will be translated into increasing stroke volume. And the nerves that were previously from vasoconstrictor center, that will also activate the lower sympathetic nerve centers, and this sympathetic fiber will go to the vessel. As it was from vasoconstrictor center, these fibers will go to the veins, and also this will go to our arterioles. They release norepinephrine into the alpha-1 receptor that was present in the vein, and it also release norepinephrine to the alpha-1 receptor that is also present in our precapillary sphincter and arteriole. Due to the norepinephrine release into this artery, it will increase the vasoconstriction of the arteriole, and arteriolar vasoconstriction is increasing. It will ultimately increase the total peripheral resistance of this vessel. And here this fiber, as it is activating the alpha-1 receptor that is present in the vein, so due to activation, venoconstriction will occur, and the compliance of this vein will be decreased, so more blood will rush into the right atrium. So we can see here, due to this venoconstriction, venous return has been increased, and as we know, the venous return has been increased, it will ultimately increase the end-diastolic volume, and due to increase in end-diastolic volume, it will ultimately increase the stroke volume from this point to this point. So venoconstriction will increase the venous return, that will eventually translated into increasing stroke volume. Now we can see what are the effect. If we sum them totally, we can see due to activation to the heart, we have increased our heart rate. We have, due to activation to the whole myocyte, we have increased our stroke volume, and due to activating the alpha-1 receptor in the arteriolar smooth muscle, we have increased our total peripheral resistance, and due to activating the alpha-1 receptor that are present in the vein, we have present our stroke volume. Now if we see what are the changes that will affect here. Previously our blood pressure was decreased due to significantly decreased stroke volume. Now we have increased heart rate, so our heart rate has increased, our stroke volume has increased due to double effect, due to effect to the direct myocyte and due to effect to the vein, venoconstriction, and that will eventually lead to increased venous return. Increased venous return mean increased end-diastolic volume. Increased end-diastolic volume means increased stroke volume. So our stroke volume has also increased, and our total peripheral resistance is also increased due to the arteriolar constriction here, and our total peripheral resistance has also been increased. So as all the parameter has been increased, it will ultimately increase the low pressure that was previously due to our posture. So when a person suddenly stand up from his lying down position, his stroke volume drops significantly, then these reflexes arcs are activated, increasing this person's total peripheral resistance, total heart rate and the stroke volume, and ultimately decreased blood pressure will be translated into normal blood pressure by increasing. Hope you have understood this well. Thanks for watching.